Okay, so the topic is aggregation. Let's discuss aggregation. So aggregation is a specialized form of association where all objects have their own life cycle, but there is a ownership and child object cannot belong to another parent object. Let's take an example of department and teacher. A single teacher cannot belong to multiple departments. But if we delete the department object, teacher object will not be destroyed. Now, in this case, department and teacher. So first of all, you must understand that department has teacher. Department has teacher. So that kind of relationship we have. Department has teacher. Now, when we say department has teacher means class department will have teacher reference or teacher array. Suppose we talk about one teacher. So class department will have one reference of teacher. So that is department has teacher. Now, in this case, this is very important to understand. If we delete the department object, teacher object will not be destroyed. So when department gets closed, teacher is not destroyed. Teacher will go and join some other department. That is what is aggregation. Okay, so let's see this with the example. In this example, we have class teacher. Class teacher has got name, age, parameterized constructor, getters and setters, and then teacher has got work. Teacher has got additional method work. And then we have class department, and department has teacher. This is what I was talking about. Department has teacher. But when we say department has teacher, which relationship it is? It is aggregation or composition. Your code will decide that. Your logic will decide that. So let's see. Department has got private teacher, teacher. That's a reference. Private string dname. Now in the parameters constructor of department, we just accept department name. In the parameters constructor of department, we just accept department name, and teacher is none. Then we have get department name. Then we have add teacher. Now look at this add teacher. Add teacher is a method inside department which accepts teacher reference, and whichever teacher reference is passed, that teacher reference will be assigned to this dot teacher, meaning instance member. So what can you understand with this add teacher method? An outsider will create teacher and pass that teacher to add teacher. An outsider will create teacher and pass that teacher to add teacher. And add teacher will collect that teacher given by outsider and initialize its own instance member, right? And then department has got perform. And in that perform, we are calling teacher.work. Department has got perform. In that perform, we are calling teacher.work. So it means that when we say department performs, who actually performs? Teacher. Teacher works for that department. Okay. Now let's see the main function. Here, department SD is equal to new department, science department. Department SD is equal to new department, science department. So here, object of department will be created. Object of department will be created. And that is science department. I will write in short. Science department. Now, as soon as this object is created, control will go inside the constructor First of all, as soon as the object is created, teacher and dname are allocated in memory. Teacher and dname are allocated memory. Teacher is null, so I'm not writing anything inside it. Dname is also null, but in the constructor we have initialized that dname, so dname will be sd. Okay. Thereafter, sd will be the reference to that object. sd will be the reference to that object. Okay. In the main function, we are creating one more department. Department MD is equal to new department, maths department. Department MD is equal to maths department. Again here, teacher will be null and dname also will be null. But then, as you know, in the constructor, we are initializing it with the value, maths department. And this object will be referred by MD. Okay. Thereafter, we just print sd.getName, md.getName. Now we are creating teacher over here. Teacher. T1 is equal to new teacher ABC35. So new teacher class object. This is teacher class object. Which has got ABC and 35. And who will refer to this object? T1, which you have created in the main function. You have created in the main function. Okay. Now T1.getName and getAge, that will print ABC and 35, as you can see here. md.addTeacher T1. This is very, very important. md.addTeacher T1. We are passing T1 to MD's addTeacher. What is MD? MD refers to maths department. Yeah, MD refers to maths department. To that maths department, we are passing T1. So what will happen? T1 will go to add teacher, and maths department's teacher now will refer to this T1. Maths department teacher will refer to this T1. That means this teacher will have 5,000. That means this teacher reference will refer to this object. Okay. So this teacher works for maths department. This teacher ABC 35 will work for maths department. And then you call md.perform. So when you say md.perform, control will go inside perform and teacher.work. So when you say maths department should perform, who will work? The teacher who is there, he will work. When you say maths department should perform, who will work? The teacher who is there inside that department will work. Okay. MD is equal to null. Now, when you say MD is equal to null, what will happen? 4,000 will go, null will come, and this object will be marked for garbage collection, right? That means we have closed the department. In a real life scenario, we have closed the department. But what about teacher? Will teacher be destroyed? No, teacher will not be destroyed. It is true that this reference, which was referring to teacher object, will be destroyed. But teacher object will not be destroyed because T1 is still referring to that. Teacher object will not be destroyed because T1 reference is still referring to that. So department is closed, but teacher is still there. Aggregation. One more scenario. So SD dot add teacher T1. Now, what will happen when you say SD dot add teacher T1? Teacher is still there. Maths department got closed. Teacher is still there. Now we are adding this teacher to the science department. Now, when we say SD dot, SD refers to which object? SD refers to this object. SD dot add teacher T1. So what will happen? Inside this object, this teacher reference will refer to this object. So in other words, we can say the teacher who was previously working with maths department, now it will work with science department. Teacher who was working with the maths department previously, now it will work with the science department, right? SD dot perform. We ask science department to perform. Now you know very well, when we ask science department to perform, who will perform? Who will work? This teacher will work. Okay. And then we say SD is equal to null. When we say SD is equal to null, this will be null. This object will be garbage collected. I mean, it will be marked for garbage collection. But will teacher object be garbage collected or will it be marked for garbage collection? No, because T1 is still referring to that. T1 is still referring to that. So once again, we can say science department is closed, but teacher is still there. Science department is closed, but teacher is still there. So this is the case of aggregation. And here, the most important point is, where have we created teacher? We have created teacher in the main. So how this example is aggregation example? This example is aggregation example because we have created teacher in main. Okay, since we have created teacher in main, even though you say SD is equal to null or MD is equal to null, your teacher will not be destroyed because teacher is created outside of this class. Teacher is created outside of this class. So even if these objects get destroyed, teacher will be still there. So what makes this example as aggregation example? This teacher, which is the child. Now in this example, department is parent and teacher is child. Child object is created in the main function. Okay, that's why it is an example of aggregation.